Alright, first and foremost in this review, the reason why I have these here is for comparison, because I do need to make some comparisons in order to show off some of the features that this thing has, as well as some of the pros and cons. I'm not going to be able to get into every single last freaking feature that this has, which is why I have in the text description, in the video description, a link to a very detailed review of this, which will go into all of the functions and features and really cool things about this model, like all the different compression rates you can record it in, how good the sound quality is, and all that. But suffice to say, this is probably the best mini disc recorder you can ever get your hands on. It has just about everything you'd want in a recorder, and for those of you who have been using mini discs for a while and who already own these, already know about this, you know this helped to rectify certain issues that we had with the older models. The RH1 used to be the old flagship, and many people to this day consider this to be the best one you can get your hands on before this one came out. Some people still consider this one to be the better one, but there's a couple of things that this thing has over this, and that's why I happen to like this. One of the things that I happen to think that this does better than this is convenience of accessing all its functions. See, this is the remote that comes with the NH1 and the other models that came with it. This is one of them. The other one was the EH1, which is also a standalone player. They came with these really cool remotes here, which are 3-line remotes. Let me see if I can turn it on a bit here. Yep, I got it. I don't know if you can see it turning on, but it's a 3-line remote. There's no disc inside, unfortunately, but if I had a disc, it would show you that, you know, you can use the jog wheel, you can scroll through them, and it's pretty cool. It's actually a better remote than this one, since this is a 1-line remote, but this one gets the job done. You just can't scroll through all the tracks that you may have, you know, or all the different tunes or songs or data that you might have on the disc. However, the problem is this remote is the only way to access all of the features of the recorder. The recorder does have, you know, the main features that you would need to record, like the recording button here, stop, pause, the play buttons here, and all that good stuff. However, the functions on being able to change your recording settings or your sound settings, you know, changing the formats and all that, you can only access it through the remote. If you lose the remote, you're fucked. Certain features you're simply not going to be able to access because they're not on the unit proper. And that can suck. It's happened to me once. One of my remotes broke and I had to get a new one. Guess how much a new one's going to cost if you try to get it from Sony? $100. I kid you not. Just for this, you're going to be spending around $100. And getting it used is still kind of close. Like, I got lucky. One of the ones I replaced it with, I paid like $60. And that's still a hell of a lot for a simple freaking remote. RH1, I don't have that problem. Every single last feature that I need to access is on the unit itself and can be accessed on the unit itself. I don't need the remote to access it. It's good to have the remote, and in fact, I honestly think that all MP3 players and all that stuff out there should have remotes, because if you have a remote, you're not touching the unit, which, you know, that means it's staying in your pocket or your pouch or whatever, which increases the life of the unit, since all you're doing is touching this, but that's a whole other topic. But still, in case I lose this remote or if it gets broken or something, who cares? I can still access all my freaking features here. Why they didn't do that with this one, I don't know. The second thing I need to show off is, you might notice that these two are in a cradle. They got a nice little charging stand. This one doesn't. You might think that's a detriment, but not really. The charging stand just makes it look cool. Like, you know, if somebody happens to show up at your house and they happen to see it sitting at your computer desk or whatever, it's like, what's that? Oh, that's my recorder. Oh, it looks cool. You know, it's standing there, elegant looking and all that. The problem is, this is the only way to charge the damn thing. It's got an AC adapter, which, oops, let me reach over. This is the adapter right here, which you would plug into the charging stand. And, you know, you plug in the wall and that's it. But this is the only freaking way to do it. If you lose either the charging stand or the plug, you're fucked. There's no other way to charge it. You can't charge it through USB. You can't charge it with an external battery. You got to have the charging stand. And if you lose the charging stand, that's $50. You lose the plug, that's another 50, close to 60. I kid you not. And it's happened to me. Yes, once again, this particular plug, for some strange reason, is notorious for the wires getting weak and fraying, and then suddenly no juice is going through. Yeah, it was frustrating. This, on the other hand, I don't have that problem. doesn't have a charging stand. It has a conventional AC adapter. Now you might be noticing that you got the plug end here. Well, what plugs into that end? The data cable, the nice little USB cable over here. That plugs in there. The same thing that you would use to interface with the computer. But in case I lose this, or if I just don't feel like plugging this into the wall, or if I don't have a usable outlet, that's okay. Because of this, and because of the way they designed this, it can charge off of the USB as well. So if there's any place with a computer, I can charge this up. Any place with a wall outlet, I can charge this up. Not only that, but if I lose this, hey, I can still charge the damn thing up. And if I lose this, hey, this is a common freaking cord that I've seen with a common connection. I've seen the same damn thing for digital cameras. So I can just go out and get another one cheap, and I'm right back in business. These two things alone make me treasure this more than that. The other thing is, I just also happen to like, this is just a little cheap little feature. It's not a big deal, but it's just something that makes me smile. It's accessing the disk itself. It just has a button on the side here. I'm sorry, didn't have the camera focused. You might notice a little button on the side, which doesn't make it look as streamlined as those, but it kind of makes things easier to access. See, I just press, click, boom, open. This one, on the other hand, just let me press the button to release it from the stand. It has, and a couple of other players have something similar to this. You got like a slide thing here. And you open the disc simply by just doing the slide, and it opens like that. It takes a little bit of it's almost like a slight acquired skill to open this thing up, though, without getting your fingers in the way of the door opening, or worse, because I usually open this with my right hand, and sometimes when you're trying to open it up with your right hand, the battery door is right on the opposite, the perpendicular side to the button that opens it up, and this opens up with a slide. So sometimes when you're pushing, you accidentally push with your thumb, and boom, the battery opens. And that can get annoying. You don't have that problem with this, however. It's just one button press, and there you go. All right, let me just put this down for a sec so I can go into the last couple of features, and I can go into some of the cons.